Hey folks, okay, just wanted to hop on real quick and talk to you about ethics. Ethics of psychic and mediumship work. So everyone's ethics who's doing this work is going to be based upon their own level of integrity, based upon their own personal human experiences, right? That's what ethics are founded on. But there are some overall rules I guess you can consider as a starting point. Although if you are doing this work and you are learning to use your gifts and discernment and all of those things within this vein for the first time ever, you're still going to have to navigate that and figure out what your code is, so to speak, right? For example, I will not tune into anyone who has not given me permission. That's just a hard and fast rule for me because I feel that it is inconsiderate. I also feel like it's a little nosy, and because I have tuned into tons of people who have given me permission, I don't want to go poking around in people's private information and lives. I don't have a reason to, right? I'm not that interested, to be honest, in doing that. However, if there is a safety issue, I will tune into the situation. And if it's on a public level, I will definitely tune into the situation because it deals usually with safety, or it affects many people's lives, or it's a part of this political landscape that we're navigating all together here, right? So, Kil.mar. Did I tune into Kil.mar and to the situation? I most definitely did days ago to see if he was still alive, to see what, in a broad stroke, the conditions were, to see if he would be allowed to return to the United States, or at least be given that option. And I saw that, yeah, he was alive, and yes, he'd be given the option, although he may not take it immediately, understandably so, right? So that's where you're going to have to use your personal boundaries, your reasons, your lines drawn in the sand that you will not cross in order to create your own code of ethics. That's mine. Also, do not let other people in this space, other spiritualists, other content creators, make you feel bad about where you are in that process. As you grow, like with anyone, our code of ethics about this work, surrounding this work, may change because we grow, we change, we expand, right? And we get better at recognizing and understanding the nuances of situations. This is how it goes, right? So when you're listening to other people and they're giving hard and fast rules about how to do this psychic work, how to move forward in the psychic work, just use your own discernment. And I know that that is like a big word that's flying around all over the place. And it's like, well, what is discernment really, right? It's our ability to judge. It's our ability to see through the bullshit. And it's also our ability to recognize the nuances and understand that things are not hard and fast rules all the time. Okay? So there is that. I hope that is helpful. Again, don't let anyone make you feel any kind of way while you are figuring this thing out here for yourself. And also, before you get to the judgment and before you get to recognizing the nuances and calling out the BS, you can also think about what your antenna is for getting to those points. Is it just a visceral response? Is it just a knowing? Is it like your body writhing, inside? So how I did after I woke up after the election, and I knew something was terribly off, it was so strong. It was such a strong feeling that I experienced of my body, the top half wanting to go one way and the bottom half wanting to go another way. And I was like, oh, something's totally off. I know exactly what it is and what happened. Got it. That was my indicator for that. And it was such a strong feeling because it's such a big deal, right? Because it's such a big thing that's happened and is happening. But with things that are not as serious and don't affect as many people, that feeling can be a whole lot more subtle. It might just be like a little quick, gut response to something. And I'm like, nah. Or it might just be that knowing. As I'm listening to something, I'm like, that's bull. I call BS. And when dealing with tons of nuances, that's when I engage that critical listening, right? Listening very closely to the, oh yeah, it's a yes for that, but a no for that. It's a yes for that, but a no for that. Sometimes I'll just get annoyed. And I know at this point, because I have cultivated that discernment for a very long time, as many of us have done in other, areas of life. When I get to that place of annoyance, I know that it's more BS in what's being said than truth that aligns with my truth. And so I can go ahead and turn it off. And so that's a good thing to think about too, how you arrive at the judgment. Because that's a part of discernment, how you recognize the BS, how you get to the point to where you understand the nuances. And I will also say that during this time, our psychic abilities help us tamp down the fear. When we tune into a situation like the Kil.mar situation, and when I saw that he was alive, for example, I could breathe at least a half a sigh of relief. Like, okay, because stories are wild and flying around and theories are circulating or were about, whether or not he was, what happens to people when they go there, yada, yada, right? And not just for him and for some of the others too. I just tuned into the overall situation. So these superpowers that we have, right? These very natural abilities that we have can help us master, so to speak, our fear or our anxiety or our worry about something, right? It's one of the tools, the many tools at our disposal. And so I'm sharing this with you because I was watching something and I'm like, oh, hell to the no. You're just making excuses. It was like all the things wrapped up in one, right? My annoyance that I got to real quick, the knowing that I got to really quick, and also a gut response that I got to. And that person was talking about psychics doing the psychic work. Again, just want to give you another way of thinking about this. You got your own code of ethics to create, or that you're already operating within. And I encourage you to continue asking yourself questions as you grow and change.